guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. I missed you so much. So if you've been really active on the booktube community, you know that there are 604 different ways for us to pick our TBRs. There's the TBR jar, TBR wheel, the TBR prompts, blind choosing, dart choosing, and then at the end of the month we all come together and we do a little monthly wrap up. Now we're doing that and we're talking about all the books we read in April, but with a twist. These mini books are going to be revealing the books I read in April. I have 8 different wrapped books that will all be containing one of the books that I read, just a miniature version. We're gonna uncover it, we're gonna talk about it, and then we're gonna move on to the next book. And I'm so excited! I put all of our books into this jar. This feels like doing a TBR jar prompt thing. Okay, I'm gonna do this book. Oh my gosh! Okay, we have Picking Daisies on Sundays. The premise of this book was basically that we were following Danny. Her nickname by Levi, who is our male main character, is Daisy. And they used to be best friends in high school. They fell apart after she realized she had feelings for him and he didn't reciprocate them. They don't meet for another 4 years until they meet in a bar and he claims that she's his fake girlfriend. I finished this book and it was honestly the cutest, sweetest, quickest read. I've read it in one day and it was like such a springtime book. And I read it on like the best day in Boston, just walking around the city. I thought some of the parts of the book were like unnecessary. She had some insecurities that were obviously valid, but it just raised the point where it would make unnecessary conflict. And the characters didn't get together for such childish reasons. But I did also love it and I like ate it up. Like I just enjoyed it. Like it was super cute. They had such swoony little moments and they just had perfect little quotes. There's a part where like he writes her a book in French of love poems. It is swoon worthy. It's just so cute and it was so sweet and I adored it, honestly. It was just really one of those books that you want to pick up if you just want an easy romance that would just make your heart feel everything and have all the little feelings. I think I rated this book. What did I rate it? I gave this book 4 stars. Guys. Ah, it's stuck. Oh, wait, it's stuck. Oh, okay. Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. Oh my gosh, guys, stop it. You are about to hear me talk. I read this book, one of my new releases that I read for a video, and we have the physical copy. I gave this book 4.75 stars. It did something for me, guys. Like I have read almost every single Abby Jimenez book on her backlist. And honestly, she is one of my favorite authors. Every single time I pick up her books, I just know that I'm going to love it. I'm going to easily flow through it and I'm just gonna be wishing for more. And I felt that way for every single book that she's ever released. But Say You'll Remember Me, it hit 5-star status. Like it was one of those books that I was like, this feels like a 5-star. Now I was so surprised because the premise of this book is that we're following Samantha. Her and Xavier, who's a vet, they meet because Samantha gets like, I think she finds a cat or something. They go on a date and it is like the most special night they've ever had. And they kind of just have to explore it. And when they do, they end up having to be in a long distance relationship because right after her date, Samantha goes, I'm moving to California. And it's a long distance relationship following so many family issues that they were dealing with, life issues that they were dealing with, and everything was just against this relationship. And I feel like I usually just be someone who hated the trope. I'm not much of a fan of it only because it just feels like they're never together. And I don't understand how I can get like the intimacy I love to see in books and get to see the little hand-holding moments and the little things that they say to each other just in everyday life if they're never together. But this book served it and then some. It was so beautiful written. It was such a pretty, beautiful little cover. And also look at this. I must say, it is so, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with this book. It hit for me. Like everything that they did, Xavier was so sweet. He was a vet, but he gave so much for her and to her, to the point where it's like borderline like, man, like, are you okay? Like you're kind of like killing yourself for this. And those parts I was like, oh, but it also kind of put into perspective how hard their relationship was. And at certain points I was like, oh my, I feel like I'm fighting for them. Like I'm anxious. Everything is just going wrong. And it just made me feel for them. But she did this thing where she was able to make me laugh and giggle and get every single thing that I love out of an Abby Jimenez romance, even when the characters weren't together half the time. Like I don't know how she does it. There's pop culture references in this book that I even enjoy. Like he went viral for like, saving someone's dog. I don't know. Like I was giggling. It hit for me. I loved it. It was so cute. The only thing that honestly didn't give it 5 stars were that I partially didn't have a 5-star feeling. And then I also just felt like I think them being apart was like every single bad thing was happening against the relationship to the point where it was a little excessive and I was like, Like, give them one win. Give them a win, please. Just one time. There was just things like Samantha's family issues that were going in the way, and it genuinely seemed impossible even to me. But picking it up, I'm so glad I did. I have so much for them, and I love them so much. And this book genuinely like lit my world up, and I'm so grateful to even have experienced it. 10 out of 10, almost 5 stars. One of the best books I've read this year. Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. Oh my gosh, guys, I swear this was the month of the prettiest covers I've ever seen in my entire life. This book is worn and torn, but like very heavily loved. This is an unexpected accidental pregnancy trope. Now, I don't know what's been going on, but ever since I read Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young, I have been open-minded to this accidental pregnancy trope. Accidental pregnancy trope. And I feel like it just kind of gets better with every book. And Cara Bastone, she like solidified that in my mind. I picked this book up. I wasn't expecting much from it. I kind of was like rooting for her to get with a different guy because our main character is one of her family friends who isn't the father of her child. And I felt like I just wanted to root for them as like a little family. And as he was like great, he had a girlfriend. So it was like, oh, to this character that just was so selfish. And his name was Shep. And that is like the only thing taking points off for me because, guys, he was so selfless, he was so kind, and he was so attentive and helpful for her, but she also just was a mind of her own, and her pregnancy didn't like overrule her too much, and it was like real. I was a little confused only because there's 2 different main characters, and I just couldn't really tell who was gonna be the love interest for a while. But I also feel like we could have highlighted more of Shep and Eve. I enjoyed their romance. And Eve, she was a fun main character to follow. Like, her thought processes were fun, and she just was funny. Like, she was funny, she was relatable. We got to see them through the trimesters. I wish we got to see them when the baby was born. Just had the support system that she built. She went through something with her best friend because her best friend was having fertility issues. So it was like she got pregnant and she didn't even want kids, and she's trying to figure out, I just feel like this is ruining my plans. My best friend can't really be near me because this is so hard for her, and she doesn't have many people to lean on except for her family friend Shep, who has always just been there for her. She used to like him when she was younger, and they have this connection that's like poppable, and I just loved it. Like, it was like poppable, not in the way where it was like lusty, but in the way where it's like strong, and you could just feel their chemistry, and you could just feel how sweet of a connection they had and how genuine it was. It was like rom-com-y. Like, this scene on the cover, it genuinely will give you those, I don't know, you can picture it so vividly and just feel it. And it was like golden hour kind of romance. I loved it. I think I gave it a 4.5 star. It wasn't like fully 5 star, but I really enjoyed it. As you can tell, I really messed the book up because I just took it everywhere with me. I was reading it nonstop. It really had my attention. And he was so thoughtful. Like, if you are really a acts of service, maybe quality time, and a words of affirmation kind of love person, it's just, we had a lot of really sweet romances this month. Oh, Blockshot by Kennedy Ryan. Okay, so I read both Longshot and Blockshot by Kennedy Ryan this month. I'm gonna start with Blockshot because we pulled it first, but this is the second book. I read it on my Kindle and I gave it 3.5 stars. When picking up this book, we were following, what are their names? Oh my god, there's an ant! Help, 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 help. Oh my god, it's gone. Where'd it go? Should I just hope it's dead? Oh, Jared and Banner. That's what their names. They had like this really cute romance in the beginning, and in the beginning, if they had no fans, I was dead. I was here for them. They were like college kids. They're both trying to compete. They're both trying to be sports managers, and Banner's trying to be a woman in this world, which is very uncommon. She's very intelligent. He's intelligent. They're their match, and they're just college kids just trying to like find their way in the world. And they meet in this laundromat to study, and he just knows that he is in love with her, and then they have a miscommunication and they don't see each other for another 4 years. And when they're older, Banner is in a relationship, and Jared is this like competitive, conniving sports agent. He is the brother or stepbrother to our main character in the first book. They meet again and they hate each other. And as they kind of start to rekindle their friendship and start to hang out with her, Jared is like, I'm still in love with her. So he decides that he is gonna have her. I was here for it until I wasn't. Like, he was like, I'm gonna have her, but like I said, she was in a relationship. So it was like, he was like pushing, and he was like, I don't care if your relationship. And at a point I was like, okay, like, I mean, he doesn't care. And then it was like, yes, but she is in a relationship. This could happen maybe without that. And it was like, oh, like we're so undeniable. They were just fighting. It was like they were fighting just so they could like hook up. Like this whole thing was like, we are undeniably gonna hook up. And I just don't understand why there was a relationship they were fighting for that didn't go past their lustful relationship. And I don't know if I kind of just missed the plot, but the romance plot was so much lust that I don't understand when they got to know each other. They were like talking about in a scene how they just felt like they didn't know each other enough. And I was like, yeah, like me three. Like I add myself to this conversation. I also don't feel like you know each other like at all. Like what's your favorite color? What's your favorite orange? What's your favorite fruit? Like tell me, please. I get that you feel like you guys have something more than they have, and you guys do. You have more connection, you have chemistry. There's like an actual fire in that relationship. But I wish they had like love also. Like it wasn't just that they had like more romantic physical chemistry than her and her boyfriend. Now her boyfriend, and I've noticed with Kennedy Ryan books, there's always like this very horrible thing that happens that kind of deters the romance. It was like, I felt like there were bare bones of a really good plot, but I think the two characters didn't have enough developed for it to hit what it could have. The way she had to, I think it would have hit in that kind of yearning, but they didn't have a leg to stand on. Their relationship it wasn't enough. Like they didn't know each other enough. They didn't talk enough. And a lot of the scenes were just very lusty, and I wish it was more like he showed up at her door and he missed her. That was it. Not like, oh, he showed up at her door and he missed her body. So it was like 3.5-ish. Like I was happy they got together. I didn't read that blog though. Kind of book. I see it! Please die. We have My Dark Romeo, guys. This book is a book, I don't know if this was a universal thing, but for me, it was very popular more in like 2022-ish, especially from like Sarah Caroli. She is like the person who kind of like put this title in my head. And I picked this book up because I saw it in Kindle Unlimited. We're sitting at 2.5-ish stars. Yeah. This book was very concerning. It was honestly disturbing in many aspects. The My Dark Romeo, I think, is supposed to be a play on Romeo and Juliet, but they lived in a regular world where they had Twitter references and meme references and TikTok and social media. In a book that was supposed to be the love interest Romeo, he speaks like he's like an old-time duke, and they live in a society where it's like you buy a woman's hand in marriage and she doesn't have a job, she doesn't work, and she gets kind of trade off by her father, and it's supposed to be like the old-time South or whatever. And it was just not very like cohesive in that kind of plot. And moving into the romance, it was like they had a marriage convenience. It was only convenient to Romeo, and Romeo traps her in this marriage. But it wasn't even like he was like conniving in a way. It was like, okay, he was just smart. It was like honestly diabolical. I don't even say it. Like he was like, okay, meet me by the tree in 10 minutes. And then she was like, I'm gonna have some fun before I get married. And she walks to the tree, and then he starts to hook up with her, but he looks so like uninterested, and she's like, okay, like whatever. He sets her up so everyone sees them hooking up, so then her dad says that she's ruined and buys her hand in marriage. And if it ended there, maybe I had bypassed this. But no, like he treats her like a pet, isolates her. She just spends her entire life trying to get rid of him. And they hate each other to a point where it's like inhumane. He treats her like she couldn't matter less. She's a whole different thing. Why did this girl, oh my gosh, her one dream was to become a mother. It's such a beautiful and good thing, but this book took it and like, it was crazy. She said, I want kids so bad. So in misusing this lusty relationship that they were having, because let me say, they hated each other, but they didn't hate each other's bodies apparently. This lusty relationship they're having, she uses it so she can try to trap him to get her pregnant, because this is her one dream and she thinks that he owes her. So after this whole thing happens, she saves some of something so she can get herself pregnant. No one asked me how I kept reading this book after that. Don't, because I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I genuinely needed to see how they would become anything other than insane people. And then the ending was like, who cares? And the book's too far. Like, you have gone too far with this entire plot. They didn't love each other until page 300 of the book. Mind you, there's 330-ish pages. And I was like, yeah, guys, I'm out for this one. 2.5 was generous. And I put this back because I was in fact not here for it. And I'd rather not speak on this book any longer, okay? Oh, it's backwards. We have Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicerelli. Nothing positive is gonna come in the next 5 minutes. I gave this book 3 stars. Basically, we were following Rune and Gideon. Gideon is Rune's best friend's older brother. Rune is the Crimson Moth, which in this world, they basically are trying to assassinate all the witches. And Rune is a Crimson Moth, which is like this anonymous person trying to save these witches because her grandmother was a witch and she's just trying to like pay it back to her. Gideon is the top captain of the guard to assassinate these witches. So they're enemies not just in like personality but in circumstance, and they start to have a romance, but they don't know that they are basically enemies, except Rune knows, but Gideon doesn't. And basically it's just supposed to be this way to get more intel on these witches, and as they start to like get together and see each other more in different aspects, it like becomes something for them. And I genuinely would like to read the next book only to see their romance. There were points where I was like, this is just not well written. Like, she was not saving or protecting these people or these witches enough, and she was so like concerned on things that didn't matter, to a point where sometimes things would happen and she just like easily give herself away. And I have no idea how Gideon didn't know. They just both weren't being very smart. Gideon was the captain and Rune was like this mastermind, and none of them were paying attention to what was going on. None of them had a good game plan. It all kind of just felt so like rehearsed, and the romance was the only plot that I honestly enjoyed. Like, they had some cute scenes, but the plot of the fantasy book as it was, I felt like it didn't hit for me. I didn't get into the story enough, and I just think that there were certain things where I was like, huh, that was it. That's all I was thinking. And put me in, please. Let me do her job, because I have no idea what Rune is talking about. They were not very dedicated to this whole fantasy plot the way I was. I wanted to read more of like a well-written plot, thought out, interesting, high stakes, fast paced kind of fantasy. And I didn't get that from this book. So I gave it 3 stars. I felt like that was a fair rating. I did enjoy it to a point. Like, I mean, would I read it again? No. But I didn't hate the fact that I read it for the first time. My Dark Romeo, let me say, I do regret picking up that book. I was also upside down, guys. Sorry. Okay, now we're getting back on track. This was the month of my favorite romances. I'm gonna say it again because, guys, when I picked this book up, swear there were stars in my eyes. I don't think I was ready. This book, I gave 4.75 stars. I am not a crier. I say a lot. I don't cry much, especially in books. When I say I sobbed like a baby, I redeeming 6 sobbed reading this book. And if you know Boys of Tommen, you know what that means. Trigger warnings for sure. Please, please, please check the trigger warnings before picking up this book, because I do think that you're gonna need them. This book follows Iris and August. They meet in a bar the night before one of the most important games of August's life, and they talk all night. And at the end of the night, when he goes in to like try to make a move on her, try to ask him to be something, he wants to be something with her, she says, oh, I have a boyfriend. Her boyfriend is August's rival, and they kind of are at a distance from each other, but they always are coming back to each other. And Iris gets trapped in a situation where her boyfriend is like, he's golden told boy, he's supposed to be like the captain, he's supposed to be perfect, and he is genuinely he's evil. I don't think you can read this book and give him any kind of humanistic characteristics, because the things he did and the way he acted this entire book was the worst. I don't think anyone can stomach it. Like, I shook so much reading this book. It was heartbreaking to see a lot of what Iris was going through, and August was always just there for her. Like, he always was coming back to her. He always was fighting for her years and years and years. And even when it felt like she was happy, even when it was like she was supposed to be this and he didn't know what was happening, he was still there for her. And it just kind of, he's always there. When she was going through it the most, he was the person that helped her. He was the love story that brought her back. And they had something that, honestly, the only qualms I have with this book was that I didn't get to see more of them in love. Like, I wanted to sit and read just as much as I read of her suffering as them just being in love and seeing Iris happy, because honestly, I almost lost it with her. I don't even know how to get across or like how to like vaguely say what I feel for this book. I don't think I've ever felt so much reading, and I will like never forget reading this book and like the experience it took me on. Like, when I tell you I'm not even being dramatic, it chokes me up to talk about. Like, I just relived the moments of me reading what she was going through. I go through it all over again and I feel it, and it breaks my heart. And the annotations, guys, I can't wait for time to pass so I can reread this. Should I have just given it 5 stars? Probably. Did I? No. Yeah. Also, it's a basketball romance. So, me and sports romances, how do people do it? How do you do a handshake with yourself? I only have one more book. What book is this? Da, 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 da. Oh, last and final book we have. I picked up this book so I could kind of just get back into this author. Me and Lucy Score. I love Lucy Score. She was one of my first favorite authors. I picked up her Knock 'Em Out series and I picked up a couple more of her releases. I feel like she was like the Abby Jimenez before Abby Jimenez for me, and she's just a fast-paced, you can depend on her to get you laughing kind of author. So I picked up another one of her books and I read The Story of My Life. Hey, I remembered. Yay! So her name is Hazel and she went through a divorce and she's kind of just at like the lowest point in her entire life. She's an author. She published like this very important series, but something happens and she kind of loses the rights to it, and she's just at a very bad place, and she moves to a small town so she can get inspiration for her next book. And she meets like this hot contractor who's also like a town councilman, so they have this kind of grumpy sunshine romance. One of the most fun things about this book was that they just was a small town. Like the small town was my favorite thing I got to experience when reading this book. They had like a town bird. No, there's a town eagle named Goose, and I was like, and Hazel was just turning the town around. She was getting inspiration for her stories and she was falling in love. I only kind of felt like Kim and Hazel also, again, had a bit of a overly lusty relationship. Like I would have liked to see more of them just having like genuine feelings. And I also felt like Kim, he wasn't childish because they were both very emotionally mature. Like there was a point in the book that I really appreciated because there was this quote and she was like, no, like we're not going to do this because this is a point in the book where there's a random conflict that's going to break up the characters and the readers hate it and the main characters hate it, and I'm not letting you do it. And I was like, I feel so seen, because I was starting to get that irritation you feel when you know some unnecessary conflict or miscommunication is gonna happen. But they just were very like emotionally mature about the relationship. But Kim also was like immature in certain places, and there was just times where like he was emotionally aware and intelligent, but he also didn't use his brain sometimes. I was here for the small town guys. Like their romance was okay and it was there, and I was like, okay, like I'm getting the feelings, but also the small town was just perfect and I just loved it. Like it honestly just gave everything it needed to give. I loved Kim's family. What did I give it? Then I gave it a 3.5 star. And it was published in, oh my gosh, I see it. It was published in 2025, so I think it's a continuing series. And I'm actually happy to see what she does with it because I'm very invested in Kim's sister and just Kim's whole family. Like I loved the found family in this book. Let me collect all my little books. Our mini books have revealed the books I read in April. And I had so much fun. I love this idea. Please, oh my god, if you like this idea, please comment because I'll do it again. And I really enjoyed it. I felt like it was fun. I don't know. If you thought it was fun, I mean, feel free to let me know. Maybe I'll do it again. I don't know. I really enjoyed talking to you guys about the books I read in April. Please stay tuned to see all the books I read in May. If you have any other ideas for me, please comment because it's really good fun. Maybe we'll just make a series out of it. Like, I don't know. But I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for sticking with me, and I'll see you in the next one. And I'll miss you so, so, so much. And I love you, but God loves you more. Bye.